bad. Sorry. Yeah, what you were saying?
I was asking, all these events are necessary, are mandatory ones. All these events are mandatory, or any one. If
See,
you are, is it needed to and put all these events in one program, or
not
it will work with?
so earlier you have seen we can work without events also, but that was not a good practice. Okay. So
Mhm.
as or when we required any particular event, we can use that. Okay, but it is recommended to use events in ABAP programming. Okay, so for example,
But
if
if
we do not,
I'm
if you have to not apply any auth related check or anything, you can skip load of program event. Okay, if you are not required to select any data, for example, you can like skip start of selection. If you do not want to do any validation, you can skip this at selection screen output or at selection screen. Are you getting me?
okay, yeah, yeah. So these are independent. These are not dependent on one
These
another.
are not dependent, but these events are getting called in a sequence. So first this
Okay,
event is getting called, then this, then this, then this, then this, and then this.
okay,
And
okay.
top
Got
of page will get called whenever we encounter first write statement in our program. So then this top of page event will call. Okay, and end of page
it.
will be called when our page will be end. So what we can see, we can, so I'm commenting as of now this code. Okay, because we just first want to understand the events, so it's better, or let me move this code. So I'm not we
So
cannot.
Abhishek,
Mhm,
when we are writing when we are writing a include
mhm.
programming include, then we have to define the event. Event is mandatory, right?
Yeah, so for modularization, event is mandatory. You are right. So you cannot modularize
Okay.
your program without event. At least one event. So that's why I have mentioned that start of selection.
Okay. And this event we have to define in include or outside include
No, in our main program.
in main program. Okay.
Yeah.
Means a top program.
Yeah, not top program. The one program we have created, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
In that. Okay.
yeah, in that. Okay, 1 minute. Ina, Bino. या बाहर चली जाओ. Yeah, sorry. Uh, okay, so what I was saying, like we have to create in one program. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys. Okay. So in the main program, so this is our main program, right? G4. So here we have to define all our includes and all the events. Okay.
Okay.
Now, for example, if I see this code is also, let me do control Z. Okay, so this code is also related to till here. Okay, so I am removing this else part as of now because I do not want this else for now. Otherwise, it will be confusing. So this else part is not required anymore. So I want to do these two things. So first of all, what I will do, if I so if I have to select this, okay, I will do control X, and after this only I have to print this. Okay, and here we will do end if, and then we will do this print data, for example, in end of selection. Okay, this I am deleting for now. And now let's check and activate this program. Okay. Now what we are doing first of all, so as we know, we can write breakpoint directly and it will, so whenever this event will call, it will stop to the breakpoint. Okay, so this understanding of event is important. So I am putting just the breakpoint for each and every event. Okay, so that we can understand when which event is getting called when. Okay. Okay, so I have put it the breakpoint everywhere, and now let's execute. So as soon as I execute my program, this load of program event has called, right? So it has stopped here. Now when I do F8, then initialization has get called. When I do again F8, okay, at selection screen output get called. And when I again do, then this screen is loaded. And when I'm entering anything, okay, for example, okay, and when I'm pressing enter, you can see at selection screen is getting called. Okay, and when I do F8, then again at selection screen output is getting called because my screen is rendered. So before rendering it is called, and this is called after rendering. Okay, this is very important to understand. So why this again called? Because my screen has re-rendered. Okay, because it is reloading. So if I have to validate this, how I can validate? I can write the logic there in my at selection screen. Okay, and when I click here, so this at selection screen is getting called, then start of selection is getting called, end of selection is getting called, and then top of page is getting called, and it has selected nothing because we have provided the wrong input. Okay, again when I click on back button, this load of program is got called, initialization got called, at selection screen output got called. So this is how these are getting called. Okay, now for example, अभी आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि we have written in sequence, that's why it is getting called in sequence, right? We can write these things in any sequence. For example, अगर मैं, for example, I am moving this code at the last of my program. Okay, for example here. Now let's see what will happen. So when I execute this, okay, load of program is get called, initialization. Now tell me what will be called after initialization? Anyone? What it will call?
At select screen, that one.
So it is not there, right?
No.
It is there start of selection, and at selection screen we have bottom. At selection screen output or at selection screen. So when I do F8, it will call at selection screen output. So it means like हम कहीं भी program लिखें. For example, if I am pressing anything, it is calling this. This is very important to understand. ये हम events, ये event यहाँ पे शुरू हो रहा है, इसके बाद मैं यहाँ पे मान लो 100 लाइन का कोड लिखूंगा, तो वो कोड कब तक इस इवेंट के अंदर आएगा? जब तक कि कोई नया इवेंट स्टार्ट नहीं होगा. फॉर एग्जांपल दूसरा इवेंट समझ में आ रहा है? जैसे मान लो मैं ये कोड उठा के यहाँ डाल दूं, तो ये इवेंट का कोड कहां तक है? जब तक कि कोई नया इवेंट इसको नहीं मिल रहा है. इस इवेंट का कोड कहां तक है? जब तक कि कोई नया इवेंट इसको नहीं मिल रहा है. समझ रहे हो? लेकिन एक कॉल कैसे होंगे? जो सीक्वेंस मैंने पहले बताया उसी सीक्वेंस में हमेशा कॉल होंगे ये. एनी डाउट इन दिस? This is very important.
So can we write this event out of the program also? Means, or else we have to write it in the main common program. Like here, it set forth is our main program.
Yes.
And we are writing events in any sequence. We can write event in any sequence.
We can write in any sequence, but it will call in a particular sequence which was predefined. Yes.
Yes, but now I have another program, Z fourth and Z fifth. Some of the events I defined in
No,
the
no.
Z
So
fourth.
each program will be having their own events.
Okay, okay,
Okay. So this is a report program you can see here. So each report program is having their own events. You cannot mix two program.
okay.
ओके जैसे कि आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है कि फॉर एग्जांपल एक टेबल में मैंने फील्ड बना दी दूसरी टेबल में मैं की फील्ड डिफाइन करूं तो वैसा नहीं होगा राइट ईच टेबल विल बी
Yes.
हैविंग देयर ओन की फील्ड
Mm-hmm. But if I'm writing two programs, Z fourth and Z fifth, same include like Z third top, I can
यस
use in both program.
both program right so that's why we have created this include so
Yeah,
that
but
it can be used in
yes,
multiple places.
yes, but the events are different. Events we have to different define in each program, each
Yes,
report,
each
right?
report, yes. So events are dependent on report.
Okay.
Okay, and this is how these events are getting called. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि start of selection एक event है end of selection is notifying that start of selection end हो गया. No, end of selection is different event, start of selection is different event. Even we can write before, like we can print it. यहाँ पे कैसा लग रहा है कि we are printing data right before we are getting the data. ऐसा लग रहा है ना? Because we have written this print data before this getting the data. So here we are getting the data, right? But here you can see we are printing the data before this. But when we execute this program, first it will call start of selection. And once it will get new event, then it will call end of selection.
Okay. Okay. And when you have created the include, you copied earlier report program in that include. So
No, we
how
have
you
not copied. So in top, always I will be having the declaration. Okay. In selection in cell, so we can give any name here. Okay, so I have give this cell for example, so I will be having my selection skin over here, and here I can give all the functions or form.
Okay.
So for example,
But
if I have to add any new thing, for example, I have to select data from MAKT table, just for example. So what I will do, I will first go there and add one more. I will declare my internal table for MAKT, right? So I will come
yes.
here, I will declare IT underscore MAKT type standard table of MAKT, for example. Okay, I will save it. I can activate it also because this is a declaration. This is my top program. Now what I can do, I can come here and select. So here I can create one more form. Okay, so for example, I want to select MAKT after this, so I can write perform get any name we can give here MAKT. Okay, I will save it, and then I can double click it and I can write my logic inside any of these. But we have created for forms F01, right? That's why I'm selecting F01. We can write that thing anywhere, but it's better if I write here, and here I will write my queries. For example, select star from MAKT. Okay, for example, I don't have where clause, then I will not put any where clause, and into table IT underscore MAKT. So it will, what it will do, it will select all the records from MAKT. So now I can activate both together, and it will select all the data from MAKT. So we have to write program something like this. So earlier we have written in wrong way. That's why we have corrected this. Got it?
Yes. And how to decide means like perform, then you write it get MAKT and then perform print data. How this can be decided means. Means print underscore data. Is there any keywords like that?
No, we can write here like print underscore Abhishek, and I can change this like this function, this form we have to change, right? So where we have our form, so instead of print data we can write print underscore Abhishek, and it will
Abhishek.
work. And instead of print also I can write gen. Why I'm writing print?
Okay.
So that anyone can understand what this function is doing. Okay,
Okay.
because this
Okay.
gen Abhishek will not make any sense, right? If I
Yes.
activate this, it will work. You can see this is activated and it
Okay.
will work like it was working. But we have to give some like proper name, right? So that everyone can
Yes.
understand by referring that name.
Okay.
Okay, so any doubt till now?
So
Any
what is this
events?
perform? Perform means then?
See, perform is nothing but we have segregated our logic into enough forms, different form. So each and
Okay.
every responsibility of each and every form to perform a single activity, you can say. Okay,
Okay.
so why we have creating form? So you can understand this, like for example, we have C drive, okay, and it is having thousands of files. So why we are creating folders? So that we can easily
Yes.
identify the files. Okay, and if anyone come to my C drive, they can like it look good first of all, and if they have to make any change or anything, it is easy to them, right? Because for example, if they have to search any song or they have to find any song, so what they can do, they can get the song folder and then they can get inside, and there also you can have multiple folders, right? And then you can easily find anything. But everything is in one place will be messy. So for example, your code is now 20,000 line of code, and if you write everything here in this report, then after some time it will very difficult to you also, even you have written your program, to identify or fix or like debug the things, right? But
Okay.
from here you can easily understand, okay, what's going on.
Okay. Understand.
Okay, so any doubt, Avnisha or Vijit? This is very
No.
important actually. Okay,
And can't we write that perform get Mara and then we have wrote that if and if statement, that also can we include it in any perform or?
we can include inside this also, this logic completely.
Okay, perform get Mara.
Yeah, perform get Marcy, because this get Mara,
Yes.
see, this is required for
Yes,
Marcy,
yes,
right? We
yes,
can do
yes.
that.
Okay.
But for our
Okay.
understanding, if we have to write any else and anything, we can write here also. For example,
Okay.
here I want to do two things, and this is both are different thing, right? So that's why I have written here.
Okay.
So it's better to write maximum program inside the form, not
Okay.
here. This should be clean. So now you can see our program looks very clean, right? I mean, if you,
Yes.
for example, now you have to change your query of MAKT. So what you have to do, you just to go to here, because you know here we will get that query, and you have to change here. Okay. So now let me.
Abhishek, what is the significance of top of page and end of page? I forgot what it was.
Okay, so top of page, end of page is nothing but, for example, if I have to make any heading or anything, I can write that code here in top of page. Or end of page is like the footer kind of thing.
Can you show an example?
Yeah, we will see the example for everything,
Okay.
for every event. So just I have written this event so that we can understand. So this top of page will be called whenever first write statement will be triggered. Okay. So for example, if we try to write anything, then only this will call top of page. So first let's see how we can debug our program. Okay. And then we will implement one by one all the like events. Okay. So for example, let's execute it. Okay. Now, for example, I'm giving some MTRT. I don't know whether it is there or not. So do you have any value for material type? Anyone? Any valid?
You can put ROH.
ROH?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's execute this. So first of all, it will stop here because I have clicked on execution button. But at selection screen, as I said, whenever, so this is our process after input. So whenever we will give any input, and when we press enter or any action on the selection screen, this event will trigger. So now we have done F8 or we have clicked on execution. So this will trigger, and here we can write our validation logic. So we will write our validation logic after some time. But before that, just debug how our program is working. So I'm doing F8. So it has come to start of selection. Even we have written end of selection before this, right? But it has come to start of selection. Now today we will use these 3 button or these 4 button. Today, 1 minute, I'm getting call. Hello. Okay. Sorry. So see, this F5 is what it is doing. So when I do F5, okay, it will execute step by step. So from here to here, if I have to come, I will do F5. Okay. If I again do F5, what it will do, it will get inside this perform. If I do not want to get inside this perform, what I will do, I will do this F6. Okay. So for example, let me do F5. So I got inside this, and if I again do F5 or F6, for example, I again do F5, it will execute this query and see after. So it has come to end form, and again if I do F5, it has come here. Now if I do F5 or F6, it will work same because this is single statement, but here again we have perform. So if I click on F5, it will go inside this. If I do not want to debug this perform, because I know this is working fine, I do not want to debug, what I can do, I can press this F6, okay, from our keyboard or from here also. So when I do F6, it will execute this function, but it will not